Good afternoon. Welcome again to another beautiful Wednesday. This is Be Good Daily. My name is Joy Hollingsworth. This is where we do cannabis news, culture, community. We're so excited to have you. During this series, we've learned a lot of information about a lot of cannabis businesses that have started from scratch and have grown into phenomenal companies. And the next guest that we're bringing on, which I'm so excited, he's a real great friend of our family's. He has a phenomenal business, have really admired the way that he's built his business from the ground up, and has really positioned himself as one of the top leaders in the industry. And so without further ado, I would like to bring in a really great friend of mine and a phenomenal business a gentleman and just awesome person, Mr. Chris Lin from Verdelux Chocolates. Chris.
Joy, thank you for having me. This is awesome. And thanks for the intro. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Hey, Chris, we're first of all been a big fan of yours and your company. And I'm so happy that we get to share this platform for you to be able to talk about your business, what you do, and just to go into detail about that. So I'd love the first question for you to just tell us about your background and how you got started in the cannabis game.
Okay. So I guess if you want me to go really back.
Go back.
You know.
Come on, bro. Go deep back.
So first of all, I think the real genesis is when you're being inculcated at your childhood. I was witnessing a lot of different entrepreneurial endeavors by my parents. I saw that, they were getting up at 4:30 in the morning, just grinding, just trying to make their own little piece of the American dream come true. So, what they wanted for me and my brothers and my sisters was, you go to school, you grind hard, you learn as much as you can, and then you prepare yourself to compete. At the same time, I think that, I was always looking for something that I could fit into. I did a lot of different odd jobs. I was, like you, we worked in nonprofits for a while. I was working as a private chef for a while. I worked back at the house, this and that. And I think it was probably my 9th or 10th years as being a private chef when I just had an idea because, everyone was doing kind of the medical marijuana thing back then. And I got my medical card and I bought some edibles, went to a dispensary, right? So I see the whole wall of edibles up there. I'm like, I'm just grabbing one of everything. It looks so good. And then I take them back home and I couldn't swallow any of it. It was just not my style, And then I just kind of looked at my, back then she was my girlfriend. She's my business partner now, but we were like, we could do this. And we didn't know how we were going to get started, but we just knew, we could combine the best of both worlds. We could combine a really great cannabis extract with, with the food that we knew that we could make. Because, I had so much experience in the back of the house, going through culinary school. That's one other thing. I went to culinary school for a while. And, we were like, look, if the market's not being served, with respect to the customers, to the patients, because they deserve better.
Right.
We'll be the ones to do it. And
right.
That was damn near 10 years ago. And so we're still doing it to this day. Yeah.
So, what's interesting? I did not know that you were a chef, and that makes sense because you guys have very luxurious and amazing chocolates.
Thank you.
And amazing flavors, super unique and stuff. And so how, walk us through the steps of I-502 passes, right? 2013, 2014 hits. Walk us through the steps of you becoming licensed and walk us through that step and what that looked like.
Okay. Well, first of all, when you say that we have amazing flavors and amazing quality in our product, I'll stop you right there and say that right now, it's my amazing team that's putting all that work into it, and so I'm really proud of them. They're really proud of what they put out. You know, I don't want to have anyone working for Verdelux that doesn't care about what they put out to the marketplace. You know, every single thing that people receive is a representation of our company and what we believe in, what we stand for. And so I have to give a big shout out to the team that's been really driving this whole thing lately. But yeah, you know, as far as what we will put out to the marketplace, you know, back then, you know, our first couple of products, if you will, that, you know, was simple: chocolate bar and
Right.
truffles. And what was great about how we got in was, you know, I just wanted to know what made a really great piece of chocolate. And so I learned a little about tempering, about you know, how to respect the chocolate really well, about just taking your time and making it one piece at a time. You know, it's about the care and the really the love that you put into it. People can taste that, you know, believe it or not. And pretty soon, when we brought it to one store, another store was calling us, and then another store, and then pretty soon we had people from out of the state, you know, asking for, you know, can you hook us up? And no, we can't do that. You gotta just walk straight for it. And so, yeah, it kind of started that way. So I wanted to make things that I would eat first.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it was, you know, we made something called meltaway truffles, which we still make. We made something called an alchemy bar, which has turned into a sapphire bar, which is more of a CBD centric product now. And after a while, you know, I had accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish in terms of making the products that I wanted to bring to the marketplace. So then I'm kind of like, well, my staff has a lot of ideas. You know, let's see what they can do. And so, you know, there's whenever we have downtime, it's R&D. It's about you know, who can bring it hardest. They always you know, do these taste tests, and there's a lot of pride that goes into it. So I can say that, like, you know, the last 6-7 things that we brought to the marketplace, they've all been you know, created by my staff. You know, they're that good, you know, and we've gotten amazing feedback on just about everything that we've put out there. And yeah.
Where does the name come from? And I know when I first connected, I mispronounced it, and you were like, "Actually, Joy, it's like, oh, my bad."
Yeah. So verde means green, right? And then if you look in the dictionary, LUX is pronounced Lux, but we want to just make it our own thing. So we pronounce it Lu. So it means green light. And so,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, if you know, just think about all the different meanings that's associated with it. So green light is, if you're into, we're in Bellingham. So if you're into things like chakras, you'll know that, you know, your fourth chakra is your heart chakra, and that's the light, that's the color that comes from there. So we like to say that, you know, our products made with the love heart, and so you can find our light in there. And also, you know, it's the green light means go. So yeah, it's time to move. And at first, I wanted to name it something else. I wanted to name it Veritas, which was Latin, right, for truth, and it would have been an homage to my father and his focus on academia and trying to find the truth in things, because he has a, you know, a very strict scientific background, and that was sort of my honorarium to him. But then it sort of, you know, just kind of evolved, and now it's Verdelux. So
I love it. How, you know, when I look at your guys' stuff, it's so aesthetically pleasing. It looks phenomenal. The branding, the packaging, the marketing, the Instagram pictures, right? Like you're so detail oriented, or just from the packaging, how it looks, like where you have a big watermelon on something and the water coming off. How do you guys decide, like, the packaging and what that looks like and the look and the feel?
Good question. A lot of it is trial and error. We start off with, if you look back at our very first packages, it didn't look like this at all. So, I like to say that was version 1.0, and then, you learn a couple things and you figure out what is sort of appealing to your customers. And then, you go back and then you're like, okay, this is what I would have done, when I had the chance. And then you sort of just, it evolves over time. You mold it. And all the Instagram pictures and stuff, that's again, that's our team. We have people that do that. They're really good at interacting with our fans and the rest of the community. So big shout out to Zach and the rest of the team there.
Yeah, I was at a store one time and I remember hitting you up because I bought some of your stuff. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, I haven't even tasted the product yet, but the packaging was fire. It was lush,
Yep.
Right? It was really nice. How do you decide on what? Because you said a little bit that you do R&D. Yeah. How do you decide on what flavors and like different stuff that you want to come out with next?
Yeah. Again, a lot of people are involved in the process. I don't want to ever say that I'm the only arbiter of taste in the company. A lot of people, are involved in it. So I'm going to listen to their opinions. And again, we make stuff that's, we try to make something for everybody. And so some of the things that we make might not be my favorite item, but I know that somebody else is going to really love it. For example, like you might not be a fan of, orange chocolate. Not everyone is, but I know that there's a huge following for it. You might not be a fan of caramels or something like that, but we got that for you if you do like it. So yeah, we're a smaller company, so we need to be really prudent about what we do put out to the marketplace. We can't put anything out that's too wild, because although it might be a niche product and might be a hit, we still have to make a return, right? But so far, it looks like we've done pretty well in making these bets.
Have you guys ever thought about I interviewed someone who started out in the cannabis game, mm-hmm. and they saw a market for mainstream. And I think I talked to you about doing CBD stuff and mm-hmm. whatnot. But have you ever thought about like just producing just regular chocolates without, any CBD or THC?
Gotcha. It's funny because when we first started out, we were actually making chocolates without the cannabis. And then we were running parallel companies, really. We were doing the cannabis and the non-cannabis stuff as well. Mm. And then we had to eventually make a decision, are we going to be a cannabis company or not? And, obviously, how it went, but the conversation is always there because, every holiday season, we always put out, our box of chocolates to our family and friends. And, it is THC free. So it's family friendly and everyone gets to, have a taste of what we were like when we really, really first started out. Yeah. And in fact, like, when we did start out, we were, catering, graduations, we did weddings, we've done, we even did funerals, just anybody that wanted a little bit of our chocolate at their event, we brought through and, we made it memorable. But right now we are focused on being a cannabis company. But, you never know what happens in the future. I'm not closing any doors. So,
right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And then, you guys introduced topicals, was like 2 years ago, maybe?
I think it was 2018 when we did.
2018. Okay.
Yeah,
like topicals and salves. Mm-hmm. Why was that important to you guys to do, even though you're just, you're an edible company, but expand into that line of products?
I'm glad you asked me. because we are an edibles company, it was really surprising to me what the response was when we put the topicals out there on the market. And it kind of happened on accident. I was making a topical for my daughter who has eczema problems, and then she was getting all these kinds of different things from her doctor, and nothing was quite working. It was painful, really itchy. She would just, she couldn't really have a good night's sleep because she was just, nagging at it all the time. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see what I can do. And before you knew it, I was trying, formula after formula, recipe after recipe, and then I eventually hit on something that seemed to work. And then I refined it, and then I honed in on it, and before you knew it, like her eczema was starting to heal, and then like it started peeling off, and then underneath was like this clear, beautiful skin. And I was like, you know what? I might be able to do something with this if I put a little THC in it too. And so, that was the start of Salvation. And and we call Salvation because of some of the main ingredients that we use in it, right? So we use frankincense in it, we use myrrh, and we also use, what I consider the gold in it is the cannabis. And right. So, it's a reference to our biblical stories that we were raised with. So,
and then you also have mercy as well, right?
Correct. Yeah. And so people were asking if I can make something a little bit more intense for, let's say, bone, joint, muscle pain. And I was like, you know what? Well, I'll give it a try. So my own staff, they are in very physically intensive jobs. You can't work a week at my factory and not have some sore shoulders or arms that ache or wrists, and you're standing all the time too. So I had some people with like with back problems and sciatica, and I'm like, all right, so this is my task here. I gotta see what I can do to help them. This is my own team. And so again, I studied what would be really effective on remedying nerve pain, giving good relief. And then so our ingredients are mostly arnica, menthol, and wintergreen. And of course, there's 200 milligrams of CBD. Our next one is going to probably have 400 milligrams of CBD, just because we can. The prices have come down. We can do that now. So
right. No, I know about that, which are great.
Yeah.
When I visited your factory, and it was so impressive to see the level of quality, cleanliness, efficiency. How do you continue to maintain that level of quality, in your factory?
Again, I have to give a lot of credit to the people that are working there, doing it every single day. It's because they care, and it's because they know that they're what we do at our factory is a representation of what happens in our own community. We want to make sure that Bellingham is represented really well, and we want to make sure that what happens in the back of the house is pristine, above board, beyond reproach. We want to make sure anyone that steps in there, it's a candy factory, but you're not gonna have any sticky floors. Every piece of equipment is shining, it's clean. Everyone has like perfectly clean uniforms. So it's a reflection of our standards. It's a reflection of the people that are part of the movement. And again, I couldn't be prouder of them, because they are doing it every single day. Now, anybody can know, the recipes. They can know the methodologies. They can know who my vendors are, but it doesn't matter. None of that matters unless you can do it every single day.
Right.
And it's the consistency that's the difference. So people ask me what separates me from my competitors. I don't know. I've never set foot in any of their places. But I can tell you that what separated me from the people that were also in the marketplace at the same time is the consistency to try to do things right every single day. And learning from mistakes. We mess up every once in a while, but the important thing is, did we learn from this? And did we catch it? And when those things happen, we don't let anything go out. Like if you look in the back, it's kind of heartbreaking because you're seeing like stacks and stacks of stuff that in some people's eyes is perfectly sellable, but not to us.
Right. No, I mean, that's always like the business owner who has that keen eye on stuff, and they might be like, well, this logo looks great. And you're like, well, I wish it was this or that. Two-part question here. How many employees do you have? And then the second part, which you said something that was really interesting, is that they care. Like your team really cares. How in the heck, because we know that this industry has so much turnover, right? How do you get people to care about what you're doing or caring about the work that they're doing? Because that speaks volumes to the culture that you're creating and management and leadership. How do you get them to care?
That's a really good question. I think every day it's something new, because every single person has their own sort of desires. Everyone has an agenda for their own life, where they want to find their happiness. My one job really to them is not just to make sure that whenever they go to the bank every 2 weeks that they can deposit their check, but it's also to make sure that they have a path to grow in the company. And so if they're that kind of person, we want to make sure that you can go from a packager to someone who's developing our recipes, somebody that's representing our company to the state and to other states at large. So maintaining something that they can believe in, and also making sure that they feel like they're being treated fairly as employees. We try to give them the best ways that we can. We try to give them really good benefits. We give them paid vacations, holidays, all that stuff. We want to give them really good benefits. We want to be able to take care of them. We want to make sure that they know that we value them very much. Because honestly, like if it weren't for my team, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
Quite frankly, that's the case, because they are so important to the success of the company. Everybody, it's like a really intricate watch. Every single cog, every single sprocket is really important. There's nothing too big or too small. It all links together, and any failure in that means a breakdown in the system. And so we want to make sure that everybody is sharp and on point, and to keep them motivated that way, you got to make sure that they are feeling valued.
Right. GPS signal lost. And how many? Apparently, my GPS was lost. And how many employees do you have?
I think I have 25.
Wow, Chris, that's amazing. And what is one, like, I don't want to say mistake, but maybe one misstep that you think that you did in your company that you wish you had back, or one road where you're like, I wish I kind of did it this way? Is there something that you could think about? And if there's more than one, I'd love to hear them all. But what's one thing you wish you could probably, like that mulligan, you wish you could have back?
Oh man.
If there's any.
You know what? There's got to be, but I've probably repressed them to some extent. But you know what? A lot of it would be just how I had approached some customers early on in the game. I was not being very humble. Sometimes arrogance has a way of turning off prospective customers. I've even had some people telling me that. They're like, "Can you send a different rep our way?" I was like, you know what? Just because I'm ridiculous and not good at this, don't hold it against the good people in my company.
Right.
I'll send whoever you want your way, and we can move on. And so, yeah, just not being very thoughtful when dealing with other people, and also sometimes it's not. We discover that people are not necessarily a good fit for my company, and we try and shoehorn them into roles that just don't work out. And every single time, we're like, we should have done that earlier,
Right.
because it's better for both parties.
Right. And how many stores are you in? And then how many SKUs do you have?
Don't quote me on this. I think we're in something like 165 stores.
Right.
And then SKUs. I honestly, I stopped counting SKUs. I stopped counting. I'm sorry.
No, good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. We have like at least 30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, did you always have a ponytail, or is this the first time? You turned to the side. I was like, "Yo, let's see it, bro. COVID got you growing ponytail."
Yeah, COVID got me. All right, here I go.
It looks good though, bro. I like it.
I appreciate that.
It looks good. Oh, okay, I see it. But the ponytail was fine. I was not trying to go in on you on the ponytail. It looked good.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
So, okay, so you have 20 plus employees. You said 25.
Yeah.
Over in 100 and something stores. And I remember talking to you about when I asked you, it was a couple years ago, and I was like, well, who does your sales? And you were like, well, when we first, I do. And I was like, really? Like, you were on the road, grinding out here, meeting with store owners. Because when you say customers, you're talking about those store owners and buyers and managers and the purchasers. You were out here grinding. And so I don't think a lot of people understand. They have this misconception of, oh, they're the owner and they probably just sit around reading Facebook. No. You were out there on the road connecting with people. How did you be able to knock down these doors to be able to present your product and get into stores?
I mean, a lot of people are going to say persistence, and certainly that's one of it. But you got to be creative, man. Sometimes I'll tell you a story. When I was working for A+, and for anyone watching, Joy and I work for the same nonprofit organization. Right. So we wanted a audience with the Seahawks general manager at that time, because we were having a fundraiser and we just needed to get into the office somehow. And so I call up the front desk, whoever answers his phone. And I said, I just wanted to call to confirm with Mr. So-and-so his 4 o'clock appointment with me tomorrow. There was no appointment.
Right.
But, it worked. She was like, I seem to have forgotten to write this down. I was like, oh, yeah. So good thing I called.
Oh my God.
We got the appointment. So my point is, it's not always going to be very obvious how you get through. You have to be resourceful. You got to be creative. You got to bring something to the table that they want. Also, I guess a lot of the times the reputation kind of preceded us. So it was a lot easier. After some point, they knew who we were. It was much easier to set up those appointments. For a lot of people, customers would come to them and be like, I want to buy this. I had to go like 2 towns over. Can you guys start carrying this for us?
Right. So you were out there just on the road, just creatively connecting with people, communication. Mm-hmm. Maybe some people were telling you, hey, we want another sales rep, but it didn't hurt your ego. No. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. It's all business, and the thing is, like, we laugh about that now. Like, so I brought that up to the customer, a little while ago, and I was like, remember that time? And they're like, oh yeah, we didn't know each other, and we just had to develop an understanding. So
right. Yeah. How do you because you guys are really intentional about products that you're coming out with and stuff that, your branding and stuff. How do you continue to stay like relevant, right, with what you guys are doing, just and connected to the customer out, not the end user, right? The people who are coming in. How do you continue to stay connected to them?
That's a $1 million question, right?
Yeah.
So for myself, what guided the sort of development for products was, what am I into? I'm into, hip hop. I'm into kung fu movies,
Right.
Wu-Tang, um, and so that's where the name Bon Bombs kind of came from. Where did Lush come from? I wanted sort of I knew that a good portion of our customer base was female.
Mhm.
So when I wrote Lush, I wanted it to kind of be like having it scrawled out on your mirror with some lipstick, the way it was written out, And also, I liked having double entendres in the name.
Right.
I guess that's kind of my thing. But it's really difficult because the marketplace can be fickle. You go from one place to the next. I mean, it can just be 5 miles down the road, and they will have a completely different taste. And so that's why a lot of companies, like Coca-Cola, they'll have multiple brands for the exact same thing.
Right.
But we're not that big. But it's really tough. You have to keep keep very aware of consumer preferences. Just
Right.
asking them all the time. And if they're like, you guys are great, you guys are doing good.
Right.
Then you have to sort of be like, well, what's next? How do I stay relevant? What's ahead of this? So a lot of the times it's, we do things, I want to say, for the soul of our company. What else drives us besides making edibles? There's a strong, and I want the wrong connotation to come out here, but there's a strong social justice value to my employees. They stand up for what's right. They care about things.
Right.
They will put their jobs on the line to stand up for something that they believe in. And so I think all that kind of trickles down, and you kind of see it in our product, because they know that edibles aren't cheap. They're like, they kind of look at themselves and they're like, I have to work X number of hours to buy this box of chocolates. It's got to be good when I pick my own up.
Right.
So,
Right. No, that makes sense. There's been a lot of talk about potentially, obviously, national legalization coming down the line, right? And people trying to position themselves to be able to either sell over state lines or distribution over state lines. Have you guys ever thought about what would your company look like outside the state of Washington, and California, or Oregon or Illinois, hell, New York?
Yeah. Well, it's been talked about. We've been approached by different people, seeing if we want to take our brand nationwide. It's something that I think when we're ready, we will probably take that step. But you have to make those moves with people that you can really trust, because maybe you've heard some horror stories of people going into like a different state with their thing, and their business back home collapses because they're focusing too much on expanding.
Right.
When we do that, if and when that happens, we got to make sure that our team is as committed to making a high quality product as we are back home.
Right.
And we want to make sure that whoever gets our product, whether it's in New York or whether it's in California, that they are receiving the same quality, same experience, the same value proposition that people in this state are getting.
Right.
And it's a matter of trust, and it's a matter of finding the right people to partner with in order to do that. Because we've had people, sort of, see our pile of rejects and say, "What's wrong with this?" I put this out there, and that lets me know, we're on the same page.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: if you guys, besides like the infused edibles and so forth, but obviously there's always a market. Like you guys started out not infusing, just doing regular chocolates. You gave me a sample of those, and my mom didn't tell me that you dropped them off at our home, and
Yeah.
I was so angry at her, and she looked at me and said, baby, they were just so good. And she opened up the box and she was showing me which one's her flavor. She's watching now, so Mom's in trouble. But, she said, well, Chris dropped them off here and he didn't have anybody's name on them, and they dropped them off at my house. So that's what she said. And you hit me like,
you're welcome, Mom.
Because you were like, "Yo, did you get those chocolates?" And I was like, "What chocolates?" I was so embarrassed. I apologize.
I'm glad that your mom enjoyed them.
Yeah. Well,
honestly, that itself is that made my day right there. They're so good that you'll hide them from your own kids.
Yeah, just hid them. And she had them in her little buffet drawer. And it was really, really funny. It was so funny. It was so funny. Thinking into the future for your company, where would you like to see yourself? And I could say 5 years and that's cool, but like this industry is so ever changing and we're just in our infancy stages, but it feels like sometimes it's so volatile, because I'm sure you've seen a lot of businesses around you go into business, go out of business, and it just, it's just always something new and different.
Yeah.
Where do you want to see your company in the next 2 years?
That's interesting. I mean, especially right now, like when people are, seeing, talking to their accountants and whatnot for tax time, like right now is when, you see a lot of the movement with licenses and stuff.
Right.
And fortunately, we've, and credit goes to my business partner, Jeff, making sure that all our financials are steady as a rock. So if it weren't for him, again, this wouldn't be happening. So again, shout out to my whole team. Everybody is so vital and crucial to the success of Verdelux. But to answer your question, where I am now is beyond what I had envisioned for the company, period. I mean, what we do now in a week is what I was just hoping that we would do in a month. So we've exceeded any expectation I had for the business. And, what I can say is, we still have a lot to go. We're in 165 stores, something like that, but there's like 400 something licenses. So we could still grow. We right. Still, there are people not familiar with my brand and my products. So I want to be able to saturate the market, make sure this is a household name, make sure everyone knows how to pronounce the name. Right. Yeah, one time it was like before everyone knew it was Kanye, people used to say Kane.
Right.
So right now a lot of people are still saying Verdelux. Before you know it, when everyone says Verdelux in 2 years, well, I've made it. Right. Also I want to be able to make sure that the people that have stuck with us, are reaching that success that they, envision for themselves. They're helping us grow. We owe them the opportunity to be successful as well. And the really cool thing is, because we are able to have the good fortune of having a really amazing talent pool to draw from, in terms of the type of applications we get in. A lot of people have their own entrepreneurial mindset. I'm really happy to say that people that have graduated from business, started their own companies, and they're all finding a lot of success. And what I tell them is, look, it's as owners, as co-founders, we're no smarter, we're no more creative, we're no more driven than any of you guys. You can all do it. Trust me. I mean, it just takes an inch forward every single day, adds up to many, many feet,
Right.
So I'm really happy that, I can look back and say, this person, this person, this person, they all left the company in better shape, more motivated, more inspired than they were before they came in, and they're creating their own businesses and creating jobs in their own spheres as well. So I'm really proud of that fact.
Wow. And you've seen social equity in cannabis shift, right? And coming and trying to get more people of color in the industry to take, to have the access to be able to be owners, to be business entrepreneurs, or to have ancillary businesses. You're a person of color. What would you tell, people of color, BIPOC community? What advice would you give them to be able to try to get into the market on an ownership level and start a business, whether it's touching the plant, whether it's a technology company, whether it's a delivery service, whatever it is? Like, what type of advice would you give somebody looking to get into the industry?
Wow, Joy, that's interesting.
I know that was a lot.
By the way, I want to say that I'm really proud of the fact that we are featuring your company's products, your company's genetics in my edibles. Couldn't be prouder of that. By the way, shout out to Coach Nick, who made the suggestion.
He did.
And it's been a beautiful relationship ever since. But
and we appreciate that, Chris. Let me tell you, you buy from us. We are grateful.
Okay? For sure. Okay, so the advice I would give to anybody, whether you're a person of color, whether I don't know how you want to identify yourself, is don't rely on that to be your selling point. You need to have, if you are selling a product, make sure that the product itself sells itself on its own merits. I mean, this, at the end of the day, it is a meritocracy. People, like, it works or it doesn't. It's either it's got the magic or it does not. And no amount of marketing is going to change that fact, because look, it'll gain you that first sale, but the second sale, the third sale, your subsequent purchases are going to be completely reliant on the fact of whether or not you have a solid product or not.
Right.
So that's my number one. That's really my only advice I can give. Make sure that you are a product-driven company, and that will make you beyond reproach. So make sure you got just make sure that you got the basics down. Now, I think that everybody can sort of tell their story, and I think that that's very valuable. I think that it is harder for people to sort of make it in the industry if there's some sort of internalized bias on the business end of things. But if your product is so good that they can't ignore it, then you've won. Again, you want to talk about going back to the very beginning. Back in medical, we had a lot of challenges because back then a lot of dispensary owners didn't want to buy from people that weren't their friends.
Right.
So, I looked at my team. We were like, we have to be so good they cannot ignore us.
Wow.
And so pretty soon, they were buying from us, and they had to have some tough conversations with their homies. And but that's business, every business owner is looking to serve their customers in the best way that they can.
Right.
So you bring them something that they can be profitable with. and everything gets easier from there.
That's great advice. You can marry a story with the product.
Yeah.
And making sure that product is on point. You can marry that with the story, and then you have an unstoppable, brand. That's the best piece of advice we could give somebody. That's beautiful. Chris, where can people follow Verdelux, and what's your website and your social media handles?
Okay, so our Instagram is verdelux502.com. Or I'm sorry, no .com. It's just Verdelux502, and our website is verdelux.com. So
nice.
verdelux.com.
And the last question I always ask everybody is, I always tell people to be good to yourself and be good to others. So the question I have for you is, what is one thing that you were being good to somebody? It could be today or the past week that you want to share with everyone.
I was visiting with my uncle the other day, and he just got out of surgery for, something for his back, and he was, having a lot of trouble. They gave him a lot of different pain pills and things. But then I said, you know what? Here's some mercy. See if it works for you. You don't have to use it if it doesn't work. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. But he was just tired of being tired. So right. My aunt puts it on his back one night, and then I hear from my mom. He's literally up, and he's damn near doing a cartwheel now because it feels so much better. So I am happy that I could help my family there and change their minds a little bit about cannabis and helping them see the medicinal benefits of it.
I love it. Now, does that make you feel good? When you take away somebody's pain, I was telling somebody that the other day, when you take, and not you physically, but when you help take away somebody's pain or be able to manage it, that's something that they'll never forget, because they don't equate just you or that product taking away their pain. They equate it to, this product helps me be able to get up in the morning and to walk around and to spend time with my family and jump on my bike or whatnot. And, that's a big gift to be able to continue to be used as a vehicle to continue. So
absolutely. Yeah. When I hear that I'm providing comfort to people, it does bring a lot of happiness in my life, because it's what I was trying to do, so
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Chris, we're so grateful for your time. And thank you again for coming on and sharing your story. I know I've learned a lot, and I know our viewers have learned a lot. And is there anything else you want to share that I might have forgot to ask?
Again, big shout out to my team. None of this happens without you guys. I've always just wanted to bring the best of both worlds to the marketplace. We did it. We're gonna keep doing it. And Joy, thank you so much for doing this with me. This was a lot of fun. I'm supporting the movement. I see you doing big things, and I'm a huge fan of yours, Joy. You know that.
Of course, I'm a huge fan of yours. We could go on and continue the broadcast about how much we love each other, and keep going there. But I tell everybody how much I respect and love Verdelux. Okay, Verdelux, right?
Yeah.
I like to ease it off the tongue, but how much I respect your company, besides like the quality that you guys do, the integrity, the branding, the marketing, and really just being a great company that has phenomenal values and just working hard, man. So couldn't be more happy to be in the industry with you and continue this work. So thank you for joining us today, Chris.
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you so much, Joy. Let's do this again.
Hey, soon. And shout out to my mom, Rhonda. She's watching this, and she loves Verdelux chocolates. All right. Love you, Mom. Bye.
Bye.